welcome. Yo, 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 yo. Yo, yo, welcome. What's up? Great one today. You're listening to Greg Johnson live on 95. We do this show on the side of the highway. Coming up, Samy Burch is here. And we're going to talk about the brilliant film she wrote, May, December. Spoilers ahead. This is amazing that she came here to talk about the movie. Thank you, Samy. Samy Burch's exceptional movie that she wrote, May, December, stars Natalie Portman, Julianne Moore. It's in theaters right now. Go now. It was directed by Todd Haynes, and it is streaming soon on Netflix. May, December is on Netflix, December 1st. Go. We are going to be talking about the entire movie. I can't hold back. You can hear the excitement in my voice, so spoilers ahead. Spoilers. The Netflix PR people actually kindly suggested that I say that. I got PR people emailing my highway radio show that I do from a gas station, which is huge. So sincere thanks to the PR people. They're very nice. And thanks to you, all of our listeners, because you've helped make Greg Johnson Live on 95 the most downloaded show on the internet that is recorded live at a gas station on the highway. Okay, Samy Burch is here. Samy and I first met in the year 2007 in the East Village in New York City. And now for this major motion picture, May, December, she's kind enough to come here and promote it. Samy Burch was actually just at the Museum of Modern Art on a panel talking about the film. No joke. So in the same day, Samy went from the Museum of Modern Art to Greg Johnson Live on 95. So that is a first. Honored, Samy. She's coming from the MoMA to Live on 95. Honestly, though, truthfully, you guys, I don't know where else you're going to get an hour-long in-depth conversation about May, December with the brilliant Samy Burch, but right here, right now, Live on 95. Grateful to Samy Burch for being here on the cusp of the Netflix release of the new Todd Haynes film she wrote, May, December. And grateful to all of you for listening and sharing our episodes at liveon95.com. Thank you. Okay, Samy is mic'd up. This episode starts right now. Wow. Thank you for being here, Samy Burch. Huge congrats on the brilliant new movie, May, December. Everyone is streaming it on Netflix and going to the theaters. Samy, thank you so much. You are the greatest. Is it true that you're coming to this pod having just been at the Museum of Modern Art?
Oh, yeah.
How was that?
Oh my God. It was amazing. It was the first time, because when the movie was at Cannes, the writers, we were striking. And then since New York Film Festival, the actors have all been striking. So this was the first time where Natalie Portman wasn't there because she's meeting us in LA, but it was me and the actors and Todd. It was like our first moment sitting on a panel and talking about the movie. So it was really a high.
That is wonderful. Congratulations, because not only is the movie out, but you are able to celebrate it along with the rest of the producers and promote it with the cast.
Yeah, it was amazing. I'm so glad you saw the movie. That is so...
Okay. Samy, the movie's phenomenal and the script is truly phenomenal. I mean, I have so much I want to talk to you about in terms of the movie. And as we're recording this, the movie's on everyone's mind. I mean, it's going to be streaming on Netflix very soon. And there's just so much complex layers in the script, in the story you told, also in like the technical genius of the film, because Todd Haynes obviously deserves his own place in, the Film Hall of Fame. I'll redo that. Any praise that I give the film might be done in post, because I don't think I could do it all face to face. But what was your inspiration in writing this movie, and how did you start to write the script?
Yeah, well, it was, the kind of the seed of it came from thinking about um the the Mary Kay Letourneau case, and at some point realizing that their kids had grown up. Like it felt like that was the thing that really felt like the Cupid's arrow or whatever, was this idea of being an empty nester, from his point of view. And I just kind of kept thinking about, ooh, you know, quiet, big quiet house, that feeling. Um, and so it started really with a few conversations that Alex and I had, because as you know, because you are in one of our shorts,
Yes.
we've, it's like natural for us to kind of brainstorm, like workshop ideas from that perspective. So it was kind of the whole idea of the movie really came in a couple of conversations of like, what if it was like a couple like that, a fictionalized couple, um, where it was right before the last kids were graduating high school. So it was, 2 weeks or a week before high school graduation, and then finding this way in of it being an actress coming to study who's the same age as the wife was at the time of the incident, and then the same age as he is now. It's kind of this eclipse. And
Yeah, I
so
caught
that
that.
yeah, so that was like that all was like, my memory is like one conversation, me and Alex talking about it, maybe two. And then we outlined, I put a ribbon on our wall in our old apartment, and we had kind of gone apart and like made notes, ideas, like it kind of sat, it was like, oh, we got to do that, you know and then we just, with note cards in a day, outlined the movie. And then that sat on the wall for a while, and then I went off and wrote these kind of character biographies for the main ones, a few pages of just like history for myself, which I always do. And then I went into the closet in our apartment in Los Feliz, with a coat closet, that we took the rod out, and Alex put in one of those like a folding tray table from a plane. It's so small, but there was a window, and I put
That's so
wallpaper.
chivalrous.
Oh, isn't that nice? I know, I don't know how to do that. And then I wrote it in the closet. And then it's been a crazy, it's been quite crazy since
Oh my
then.
god. Sammy, it's freaking amazing. Because I want to talk more about the movie, but
Yeah.
I mean, go back to that. After finishing the script, what was it like to learn that the film was even in development?
Oh, well, it was so, there was a gap of time. It was like I finished it on Memorial Day, which was very nice because that's the day the movie starts.
Yes,
In
I want to say, I know that Mary Kay, I promise not to interrupt you too much,
Oh no, come
but I know
on.
that Mary Kay Letourneau passed away, I think, in 2020. Did that have
Yeah,
any inspiration for your interest in the case again? I know there's other cases like it. I'm kind of someone
right.
who's interested. I know a little bit about Mary Kay Letourneau, having seen like 11 docs about her, but
That's more than me.
so I'm wondering if her
Yeah,
passing away made you think about the empty nest, or also the actress angle, because I know Penelope Ann Miller played Mary Kay Letourneau, but it sounds like that was just more of an abstract in for you.
exactly. Abstract. Well, um, the first draft was written, finished Memorial Day 2019. So, but that really was the seed. Like it was important to me, given for several reasons, but given, I wanted to absolutely fictionalize it, not use people's name, not make the, if you take your glasses off, it's clear the inspiration. But I feel like, um as far as the details, who these people are, their voices, their spirits, like, those there are differences. But so it was, I didn't have representation. So it was summer, or no, I guess, yeah, it was like June of 2019, and it took until January of that next year is when things started to really click, because that's when I met with my current managers, and then they sent it out, and then it was like just this succession of really wild dominoes of,
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
how lucky are your managers, by the way, for hooking up with you? I mean, what was the first domino to fall into place? Was it Todd Haynes?
the first domino was Jessica Elbaum and Will Ferrell, who she just totally got the script, and our first phone call was the day before COVID locked down the world.
What the heck?
So the
Wow.
whole thing has been very surreal and heightened in that, um, like the isolation of it, of getting all this good news and being like, cool, and I am still in my apartment and I haven't met anybody. That's fantastic. So yeah, it was Jessica Elbaum, who's amazing, and Will Ferrell. They came on. We did a round of notes that were wonderful from them that I turned a new draft in, and then the end of 2020 is when they got it to Natalie Portman, and she was actually the second domino that then she herself brought the script to Todd, because they'd been wanting to work together. They never have worked together. She's never worked with Julianne either.
Oh my
And
gosh.
that was insane. And
Oh,
then
wow.
I met Natalie and Todd on the same Zoom together in
Oh.
2021 in January. As you can imagine, my nerves were shot. Really extreme thing to happen, but it was so fun, and it was just very immediately, there was kind of a kinship, and I could see that we were all on the same page, and we just talked about what they liked, and ideas and thoughts. I mean, these are Ivy League educated artists. It's a very it's really a gift to get notes from them both. And then it was later that spring is when Todd, it's incredible, really, to the relationship that him and Julianne Moore have had. This, one of the great cinematic
Oh yeah.
partnerships, that he brought it to her, and then it was kind of like, oh my goodness. But there was always this, he was working on another movie that sounded amazing, and they got really far. They were like 6 weeks out from shooting, and he had a big team in place. And then it didn't work out,
Oh
and so
no.
he pivoted to this
Was it
movie.
Napoleon?
No, it was yeah, exactly. It was a Peggy Lee movie with Michelle Williams. And
Oh.
so everyone on the team, like the production designer, Sam Lysenko, they were, in dealing with these lush, gorgeous 1950s. They were in Cincinnati, this romantic kind of thing. And then it was like, oh, actually, we're turning left. Everyone, we're going to
Oh my
Savannah, Georgia.
gosh.
We have to find a crab shack. It was like completely different experience. But they pivoted, and then it just all aligned, as far as like, because all three of their schedules, I would imagine, are very tight patchworks. But they all found a very slim window in October, November of last year. So it happened pretty quick from there to now.
Oh my gosh. Absolutely amazing. I want to talk so much about the scenes from the movie. The Crab Shack, was that what the live band and the brother was
Exactly, with the
playing? I
sun.
mean,
Yeah.
absolutely genius scene, among many genius scenes. And also, you made mention to the short film I'm in of yours, Bev. So
Yes.
please do not hang up without us at least mentioning Bev again, please. Maybe you can come back again sometime and we can promote Bev.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm curious as to
Proteins. Hmm.
when you wrote the script in the closet, how
Hmm.
different was it from the one that you gave to Natalie Portman and then she, like, I had read online it was originally set in Maine. Roughly, were there like
Exactly.
other differences or were there characters added, during the
Yes.
shoot or anything?
The big the from there was one draft in between the first closet draft, and then the second draft was also in the closet, and then after that I moved. I didn't have an office closet anymore, but the it was Maine up until um pretty much a few months before they were on the ground shooting, because it had to be fall, and they graduation they had to shoot in fall, but graduation is obviously spring, and so they couldn't shoot New England without all the leaves being off the trees. So it became, where can we shoot fall for spring? And then when Savannah was on the list, it was really kind of kismet, because I lived there for a year. My freshman year of college, I went to the art school down there. So I was like, well, I know Savannah. It's really weird. And then I did a pass of the script that summer, so last summer, to kind of infuse Savannah and Tybee Island, which it was lucky that I knew the vibe. And now it feels really essential for a lot of reasons. It just is so baked in. It was a very lucky kind of practical shift.
Oh, and it's
Um,
amazing right from the beginning with like the palm trees and Gracie's house. What's
yeah,
going on with the pool in her backyard? Was that in your script?
that was in the house. They found Todd and Sam Lysenko, the production designer, went down to Savannah and Tybee and did a whole location thing when they were figuring out, is this the right place? And they found that house themselves because it was in the neighborhood of other ones that were like available to rent for a movie. And they left a note. I met the guy in Savannah because we were just there screening it. And he said that he
Like
came
you're
home one
both
day.
pinching yourselves.
Yeah, exactly. He came home one day and had a note on his house that was like, "Hi, I'm a director. Like, can I film in your house?" Like, Todd Haynes. Like, can you imagine? And so they
I've seen
they
Carol like 11 times.
oh my God, I know.
And
I've seen
I
all of
watched
them.
Safe before I went.
Is that not a it's a perfect movie? It's like just the most Julianne, that's her first leading role, and not only that, not only how it's transformed over the years. And that's the other thing, is I almost felt like I had been thinking about Safe so much during COVID that I had like conjured Todd Haynes' energy into existence in this call, because
Yeah, you finished
it
it
was
on before COVID. And then
before
as
6 months
COVID's going
of COVID.
down, you're thinking
Yeah. I'm
about
just thinking
Safe.
about Safe because I was always just I'm a little like that. I'm very allergic in general, and also afraid of germs and stuff like that. I've gotten so
Sammy, I wish I could talk to you about pandemic. I mean, what was that time like for you? Because for me, I'm the
so
same way.
brutal.
I thought it was going to come in through the walls or
Oh,
something.
absolutely. And also because I'm really asthmatic, which is in
Yeah,
the
let's
film
talk about that. Was that in the
asthma
original script?
representation. Oh yes, absolutely. I mean, it just kind of felt, something just felt right about it, with that character, with Elizabeth's character, but also, I wanted there to be some manifestation of the, it's like when Joe is Elizabeth keeps kind of trying to seduce Joe in these different ways,
Yeah.
and is very weirded out almost that he isn't responding to her
Yes, the
like
scene in the
outright.
doctor when they're going
Yeah.
after over the x-rays.
Yeah,
I think that's the first time you're kind of like, oh, she's making a pass at him. He's not
exactly.
responsive and she's surprised.
exactly. She's like, that's very strange because I think she has, um, you know, most men and probably women, wrapped around her finger, but it's like she can't get to him by being seductive. She can't get to him even by being kind of a compassionate listener. It's ultimately when he can sort of be a caretaker for her um, with the nebulizer. And I guess I did just kind of want to see a nebulizer seduction on screen. It's not something I've seen, and that's something that I've have personal experience with. But anyway, yeah, I was
Yeah, that's
very
representation.
it's representation for my asthmatic community. I was very nervous in COVID, of course, and still am, and honestly am. I can't unsee. I'm like, I look around and I'm like, wow, you guys are all able to unsee all those images, those cartoons of particles of breath,
Yeah.
of, blue, like animated particles in a diner. Like I can't. I
I
am
know. It was
constantly
like,
inhaling particles.
I know. And the way that people got so over the masks, like,
Oh, I know.
I mean,
Oof.
in New York City, especially, it's like no one on the subway or the airplanes. And
I know. I'm like, I don't want to breathe in everyone's disgusting particles, just in general.
I know.
No, I'm like, but yeah,
Well,
I'm
this is a good gateway into
okay.
talking about there are so many amazing themes in this movie. You talked about kind of like her seduction of Joe, Elizabeth's.
Mhm.
Um, oh man. Okay, I want to get this right, but like, well, first of all, how much were you basing all the characters in the movie on the Mary Kay Letourneau story, or were you kind of just like using that as a jumping off point?
Definitely just the seed, like the who Joe is, his career, the details, the kids. Certainly, I don't know anything about her kids with him, her kids from the other marriage. Like these are they're no there's no one to one as far as what I know to be the truth in any sense. Um, it was it was that dynamic and that kind of almost uh, I see them on the Mount Rushmore really of tabloid figure. It's like Monica, Tanya, them, Heidi Fleiss, Amy Fisher, like these mainly women that were just so present in um certainly my childhood growing up in the 90s in this frantic time. um but so yeah, so those are not there are a lot of invented, of course, people.
I mean, I feel like there's so much going on in this movie, so many brilliant themes at play. Like one of them being Elizabeth kind of trying to come to an understanding of Gracie without falling in the trap of judging her, which, ultimately kind of sort of starts to happen. And then eventually, I think, um, as a viewer, my judgment went to Elizabeth because it kind of all like gets exposed for her towards the end of the movie. But anyway, this movie's it's just so brilliant. From that moment in the beginning where Gracie's worried about the hot dogs and the music kicks in, that got a big reaction from the theater that I was in. Was I mean, technically, in terms of the film coming to life, what did you think of the music?
Oh, I love it. I mean, I'm not a musical person in general, and it's abstract to me to talk about music. And Todd had, because the score is um an adaptation of a score from a 70s movie called The Go Between, a Joseph Losey movie, and the score is by Michel Legrand. And Todd had seen this movie. He'd seen it as a kid, but he saw it again on TCM the summer before shooting, and he's spoken about this, just blown away by its boldness and how it kind of like sits on top of the movie. Like it kind of like slaps you in the face. And so he used that score as they were shooting the movie. Like it just became part of the tone and the script. these specific cues. And then of course when they did temp, for editing, and then at a certain point there was like a point of no return of like, wait, everyone's too attached, he it's just so essential. So then the amazing composer re orchestrated it, and they like got a new orchestra and redid it, and he added, I actually don't, I'm not, I don't have the full vocabulary of what composers, what that is called when you add your
That's
own
fine. I could talk
chords,
to you about like the music and Todd alone for like an hour.
I know.
Um, that hot dog scene. I mean, this
Yeah.
setup, the barbecue,
Mm-hmm.
they get an unexpected package, kind of right away.
Mm-hmm.
Things are a little uneasy, but
Yeah.
obviously central to the film is Gracie's different breakdowns, I think. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I think. And I think the breakdown of her marriage, I'm wondering which sort of scenes of Gracie's you found to be most pivotal when you were writing the original script.
Well, I
Is that a
just
fair?
like, yeah. I just like how, there's sort of the exterior Gracie and the interior Gracie. And I don't even know that one of them is more truthful or than the other. I think they're both very layered, as far as what's being said and what she actually thinks. And that's part of the mystery. But the way she presents to the world and to Elizabeth, I mean, there's a lot of denial. I think that's the biggest, one of the biggest feelings of the movie.
Yeah,
And
there's this denial because there's also the mystery of like, is everyone a victim or is everyone a perpetrator, right? Is that sort of at play?
yes, or yeah, it's like, what did everything orbits around Gracie's awareness to me. It's, what did she know? How aware is she? Is this someone? And this is what I'm constantly thinking about in general is, is this the type of person that has a certain amount of calculation, or is it more like a jaguar in the jungle, that it is so inherent that they don't even know what they're doing and they never thought about it? I mean, and certainly we get a lot of clues, and in a way she is the the character that is really unknowable to fully, her full interior life cannot be exactly known. But those those scenes are so fun to write, of behind closed doors. There's this fragility, but also it's incredibly dominant. There's this, like, the way that she can, one of my favorite moments is when Joe comes home with, after he's done that walk with Elizabeth, and he's got takeout, and like, I think it's because there aren't lights on
He
and
knows.
it's quiet. He's just like, fuck. He kind of whispers like, oh fuck, and I always feel that in my stomach, that he knows that something's happened, you know.
And it's probably a meltdown over baked goods, right?
Yeah, or that's what she's saying it is, or what, that there's this instability, where beyond all that he has to deal with in his eventual discovery of, his own things that he's trying to repress, the day to day is very full in this relationship, as far as what he has to, the burden that he has to take on, and care for her, and be this, like, this man, this strong man, like, and the unevenness of which that always was. I think a lot of the movie exists, obviously there's fragments of truth and these doublings of people and mirrors and all of that, but there's also this double image of the past that we keep, um almost like, you're at an eye doctor and you go that one or that one or that one or that, like that's, we keep getting reminded of the past, even at the same time everyone's trying to deny it, everyone's trying to, keep it from you, push it, push it, push it, push it, so and all of that, it is so fun. I can't recommend it enough, having a director like Todd get to get to watch his thoughtfulness and his choices. I mean, the scene,
Yeah,
I love, like the scene with the dress when they're trying on graduation dresses,
of
and
course.
it's like you're seeing through all these mirrors. You think you know which one is actually real, and then when she comes out, you go, oh, those were all mirrors. But the the gorgeous framing and the thought behind it, and then to just let those scenes play out. There's no cuts, there's no, oh, let's get coverage. Like now I'm like, God, how that's so fearful in a way to be like, and then this and then this and like we'll figure it out. It's like, no, this is the scene. Like it's incredibly bold and like, yeah, fearless. It's amazing.
Was any of that mirror stuff written into your script?
Not no, absolutely. I mean, for me, with what he had, it's funny, there were some mentions of mirrors, like just because there are, like, it's like, yep, there's a mirror, like there are mirrors. But that, I don't think about the camera at all in my um process. That's I don't feel my job. But the thing that Todd has said is that when he was reading it, it was the monologue at the end.
Was this when Natalie Portman goes into camera?
Exactly. She's looking, it's like you're the mirror. She's looking right into camera, and she
She
delivers
really
this
brings
amazing monologue. Sorry.
yeah, oh God. I wish I hadn't talked over you right there, but she really brings it with the lisp. I want to talk
Absolutely.
about the lisp. I'm
I know.
chomping at the bit to talk about the lisp and all that. But yeah, no, that scene is pivotal. Talk about that scene,
Yeah,
please.
the monologue is very it's stunning to watch, Natalie.
Truly.
It's really the climax, certainly, of her character, and her becoming, her performance of this person. And she reads this old letter um that Joe gave her, like it's an acting, basically like it's script. And Todd said that when he read the script, it was that scene that he thought, I want to direct this movie and I want to shoot that with her looking right to camera, which is, if you've ever seen the Ingmar Bergman movie Winter Light, there's a similar shot where the actress is looking right to camera and she's reading this, or she's performing this letter that it's basically an unrequited love to a priest. And so then it was part of his process was to figure out a way that justified that decision visually. So the mirror scenes became that way of, okay, building that into the language of the film. It's like stuff like that is just very it's amazing to kind of witness.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna I honestly I wanted to get this interview right because I could go scene by scene, but obviously we don't have all night. I'm wondering, was any of the plant insect,
The butterflies.
yeah, excuse me, were any of the monarch butterflies, was that written into your script?
Oh, totally. Yeah. Basically the butterfly thing was, I had read, I think it was like Christmas 2018. So it was like after Alex and I had these initial conversations, but before it was outlined, and we had just kind of been thinking about it. We were in Tampa for Christmas. I read an article about these uh, people that do this. Like it was like NPR, and it was like the butterfly Facebook hobbyists that are like trying to get these numbers up, and like
Oh
they
yeah,
clip
Sammy, I think my mother did that.
I love that. I love that. Oh my
Andrea.
God.
I think she listens to this podcast.
That's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to do. I love that people are just like all kinds of, these hobbies, like this idea of like caring for these butterflies and giving them a shot. And so I thought that was a nice thing for Joe to do because, there's the one thing of this recurring thing of how I think he is a natural caretaker, but he's also been forced to be a caretaker, both by the like kind of literal forced fatherhood that happened to him, but also with her, with their dynamic. And then in the other way, it's like there's like this obvious metaphor really for growth that I've seen it as Joe's subconscious giving to himself. Do you know what I mean? Like that's how I see it. As
Yeah,
less
like
like
he's like on the roof and he's like, I've never smoked pot. And then he's like with his
yeah.
dad and he's smoking with his dad. And then it all builds up for me to the graduation scene was very emotional
Oh,
for
it's so
both.
emotional.
It's emotional for Joe and for myself.
Yeah.
And then I think, obviously also his scene with Julianne and when their kind of marriage, it sort of seems like it's dissolving
Yeah.
alone in the bedroom. But anyway, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know what I was interjecting about. I thought the
No,
plants was really interesting because what can
yeah.
you say? I mean, Todd Haynes usually works in a sort of green plant symbolism. And the butterflies must have coincided well with that, I would think.
Absolute. Well, there's also, I find very fun. They were on 24-hour butterfly birth watch for the whole movie. And it was like a pregnant woman where the DP got a call at like 5 a.m., like, get over here. Like they had cameras set up in this location to film these butterflies. And I think it's so funny, like, that's this random butterfly's birth is like immortalized and it doesn't even know. It's just like, okay, bye. You're in a movie.
It's
But
on the big. You got to see it in the theater too.
I
It's
know, I know it's very fun to see big but also to see with people because I mean that's the thing that maybe we should talk or clarify is just that it is really funny and there is humor, but it's also moving. It's like the things intertwine. But what I love too is getting to sit in an audience and there are certain moments that get like gasps. Does that happen
yes,
in your theater?
yes. There certainly were. And before I forget, I just want to say a big reaction and one of another. I mean, I have 50 favorite parts, but I love when Natalie Elizabeth is on the phone with her husband and she blows him off and says, "Oh, it's the network." Like people were like, "LOL" in the theater. Like they were like, "Oh, she's bad."
Yeah, Natalie is so funny in the movie, and there's such like, um, I love how fake she is with people, and the kind of the slow uh the slow reveal really of how how untrustworthy she actually is as a
Trash.
narrator there's we kind of go in going, okay, she's our entry point, got it, and then you're like, wait, what the fuck? Or maybe
Yeah, it took me till after the movie. I thought, well, even in the first scene, there's that guy at the grill who's like, "I've seen her naked."
yeah,
I love that. And then I loved
that's Mike
when she's,
Lopez. He's a really funny actor.
oh my God, Mike, please come on the pod. Let's talk May, December, dude. Um, and then also when Elizabeth is talking to the high school class
Yeah,
and she
I love
starts to
that's a
get
fun
sort
one.
of, I don't know, sexual almost.
Yeah, really inappropriate, and there's that, yeah, that's definitely one of the transitional kind of moments. And yeah, I love, that is one of my favorite scenes. I love watching Natalie's performance in that
Yeah, they're kind of like
scene.
over her right shoulder. But were
Yeah,
you at the shoot ever? Like
I
when you heard,
visited.
were you like, cool, I'll be there every day?
It was an independent film, so it was like, I was there. I got to visit. So I visited. They had been there a while, but the whole shoot was only 23 days. So it was really fast. And I got to be there for graduation, which was really big day.
So what's
And
that? Is that
then
all staged with obviously AI actors, right? No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, it's a
Todd Haynes
pastel
only
and a
uses
paint
AI
drawing.
extras. Yeah.
No, a lot of them were kids that went to the art school that I had been a freshman at. There were a lot of kids that not only were in the movie, but they also were PAs on the movie. They were like it was that was really cool.
That's
Um
awesome.
yeah, and so the graduation was that was all one day, and it was the biggest day as far as like stuff, extras, having to wrangle and everything. And then I was there for some of the pet store days. So I was there for like three
The
set days
pet
and a hurricane
store.
day.
Let's talk about the pet store.
I know.
I
I
mean, because that's
that's
another pivotal scene for Elizabeth, because you're like,
absolutely.
okay, she's scoping the pet. Oh, and then she kind of, she starts getting erotic.
It's
I'm
she
sure
gets
that's how you
erotic
wrote
at
it
the
in the
pet
script.
store. Yeah, it is. It's and that's such a, it's like you have a thought, you write a sentence down, and then you're like, oh my God, when to see that moment visualized, performed, scored, it's really,
Where did you
it's
see it
quite
for the first time?
the first, well, I had seen certain things, but the first cut was a link sent to me and Alex, and we watched it in his office, and it was, I mean, yeah,
You're
it
like,
was
no, 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 no,
cackling.
no. You're like, none
Yeah,
of this will
I'm like,
do.
try again. No, it was euphoric. I was cackling. I was, it was such an incredible high. And also my brain was, of course, frozen, and like, it was so surreal. And then every time I've seen it since, it's, it's so fun to get to, because it is so layered, to get to see these little choices and some bit, but just see little things every time, new things, especially with what Charles did, what Julianne did, what Natalie did, what Todd did. Get to notice new things is always very fun.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, every single performance is so brilliant. And it's why I'm so excited that it's going to be streaming on Netflix soon, because I can rewatch it a few times. I mean, it's something that's
Yeah,
going to not just stick with people, but it's going to continue to reveal itself to people, I think,
that's
through
what
the
I
years. Yeah.
love. I love hearing that too. Like when I've seen, because I like reading letterbox reviews because it's so fun. And that's always a fun thing of when people are like, I can't wait to see it again, or this is the second time, and this is how I felt that's a fun part of this whole crazy experience.
Yeah. I feel like there's probably other people who are influences of yours who are going to come to you and say, hey, great job with the script. Like, has that started to happen?
Oh my God. Well, I feel like we're so right now on the verge of a lot of people seeing it. So far, it's been critics and journalists and film festival audiences for the most part. But the movie is premiering. Um, that it's having its premiere on Thursday, and then it'll be
That's
in theaters
huge.
Friday. And
Congratulations, Sammy. We'll have to have you back. We'll have you back at
oh,
Christmas, and you can tell me all about all the people who contacted you to give you praise about this
yeah,
movie.
exactly. I'll start making a list.
Yeah, just for my podcast. I'm sure, like, as soon as we get into the new year, run back to my podcast and tell me all the people who've reached out. I mean,
Exactly.
who are your influences though? Like, not in a generic way, but like, are there one or two people that you thought about a lot when you wrote the script? Maybe it's just Mary Kay.
Well, honestly, I really didn't think about her that much in a way. I kind of like, I was not someone that was like, gotta do a bunch of research, gotta no, so much was infused in the air that certain things just felt very known, and then I didn't want to get too deep in that, because that's something I've done in the past with, where I've written something that's a true story, and you really start to, I felt very much for even minor characters, where I'm like, oh no, now I feel obligation to this random guy.
Wait, like
You
Georgie's
know?
the brother who has the band, right? And
Oh
he's
yeah,
like, he's
that,
like,
yeah,
I
these.
I heard about this music manager position. Anyway, what?
Oh
Go
my
on.
God, music supervisor. I know he's a Corey Michael Smith. He's like an amazing actor. I'm so excited for everyone to see. That's just such a fun character to write. But yeah, that's why I wanted to make sure, like with that, like, that's he's a complete invention. There's I don't have to feel sticky about anything. It's like all of that is very fun.
I felt so much central to the themes of the movie was this, like, who's the victim, who's the perpetrator, who's the
Hmm.
predator. And there's
Hmm.
so much complex about what happens with Gracie's character, because sure, so many people see her as the predator, but it's obviously multi-layered. She has arrested development where in her head maybe she's still 13 because of what happened with her brothers.
Right. If that's true.
Yeah, if that's true. What did you think that was true? Tell us
I feel like that's one
definitively.
of
Tell
the
us, Sammy.
like that's one of the things that I should not say my personal opinion
Okay.
on air.
Okay.
It's true. But I
We'll
think
circle back
it's,
off air. You could
yeah, exactly. I think it's essential to the experience of that the audience has, is because I think to some people that moment happens, and there's an immediate almost relief, and kind of a letting off the hook that takes place, I think sometimes, that then is kind of discarded immediately. Well, you know it almost makes you complicit in some of these things. But yeah, I think there's,
because he has that little aside too, where he's like, and then I gave the boy a hand job and never talked to him again. Am I right about that?
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's brilliant because it adds another layer and it's just an aside. I mean, wait, can I just say,
Hmm.
like, I'm sitting in the movie and I'm like, am I going to cry during Sammy's movie? I bet I'm going to weep during this movie. And then I think there's a scene right in the beginning where Elizabeth is talking to the family friend and she says something, I may be paraphrasing, but she's like, it's a very human story. Be
Hmm.
kind.
Hmm.
And right then I was like, I'm gonna cry in Sammy's movie. I'm gonna weep. And sure enough, it got a little dusty during the high school graduation scene. But
Exactly, I
anyway,
know.
enough about
Charles.
me. I just think
No,
go
I
ahead,
love it.
Charles.
Well, just Charles is amazing in the movie, and it's he's ultimately the heart of the movie, and the counterpoint to a lot of this, the humor and the dramatics and the layers are in a lot of ways protecting his character, to sort of reveal himself at a certain point, as, and not just like the human toll of stories like this, though I think that's part of it, but the the soul, there is just a delicate balance that it all has to have, for it to not feel um exploitative in itself, or also um callous. I think that's the thing that I think is so impressive of of the way audiences can perceive it, is that there are a lot of laughs. It is really funny, but that's not the joke. Like, I think that's something that I hope is really clear, um to people who haven't seen it, but I think it's very clear that people have seen it, that the jokes kind of stop, or there's funny things throughout, obviously, but when they're not supposed to be there, the laughs stop dead cold. There are a lot of
Yeah.
those examples where um your stomach kind of turns quickly,
Yeah.
which is really exciting for me, as a just as an audience member, but also experiencing it in an audience, but also just as a viewer. Like I love those twists that happen really fast where, it's acerbic or it's satirical and it's kind of commenting on the Hollywood machine of misery
Yeah.
recreation that we're kind of in the heyday of right now, but also um it's not to be overstated that it is heartbreaking, and that's so much about Charles' performance and how subtle and physical and beautiful it is.
Or what about Julianne? You mentioned the
Oh yeah, you
graduation
want to talk
dress
about the
scene.
list? The
Well, yeah, I
list. I
want to
mean,
talk about the list. The graduation dress scene is like that because it kind of like gives you a gut punch when you kind of aren't expecting it, or at least that was my
exactly.
experience.
Yeah.
Also the hunting. Hello. I thought for sure she was about to sue. I'm like, oh no. I told my wife, I was like, cover your eyes. She's gonna suicide. And then another brilliant turn. We are discussing spoilers. Again, I will edit in a lot more praise for the
Right.
movie.
Oh yeah. When is
Everyone's
I
excited to stream it on Netflix, of course.
yeah, exactly.
I feel like Mary Kay kind of had a lisp. I went and looked back and I'm like,
She did. That's the thing is, well, she didn't. I wouldn't.
no, it was more like maybe a girlish.
I don't. I'm not a speech pathologist, but there's something going on. But the lisp is absolutely not in the script. That is a complete invention of Julianne Moore, which is so brilliant. And now that the strike's over, I got to hear her talk about that at MoMA the other day, and
What did she
she
say?
was for sure influenced by that. Exactly. There's a girlishness, there's an infantilization
Totally.
that happens, um it, that, and that was very that made a lot of sense to her, and I think it is really effective, and I'm very grateful to her for the list. But yeah, there
Yeah, I mean,
it's
the list is huge
amazing.
because it also kind of slowly reveals itself. And also, you're kind of
Yeah,
slowly realizing that she's sort of thinking that she's stuck at 13. Like when she says to her husband,
exactly, or
you seduced
younger. I
me.
mean, yeah. Oh, that's the did that get a that gets normally an audible
Yes.
kind of.
People stood up.
Yeah.
People were like, what the fuck? The critics were going nuts. I'd never been at a press screening before, but they were into it, man. Like,
Oh my God, I love that. That is so fun.
I felt like I was with
Um,
the press too. I was like there were literally like people like typing it up and
yeah, like the newsroom,
yeah, they're like,
like the
I'm like a typewriter in the movie theater. Come on.
they got the pen in their
Yeah, I met
hats.
Gene Shalit though. That was cool.
Amazing.
Um,
Yeah, that is so fun. Yeah, no, it's stunning. That's a stunning moment, really. And yeah, there's a lot. That's the thing. It's disturbing, which I just really like being disturbed. So,
I feel like there's so much attention paid in the true crime news, but
yeah.
also in general mainstream news about a woman like Mary Kay Letourneau, who's immediately classified as a predator. However, clearly there are stories to tell and layers to the story that the general public
Mhm.
maybe isn't considering.
Yeah, but it's like there's a very cyclical kind of snake eating its tail situation that happens, because it's like these women, and there are many of them, and there was one really recently. I mean, they're kind of constant. um they become named celebrities because they are more rare than I would imagine. I mean, it's based on personal experience, but
Yeah.
I would assume there are just so many more male teachers getting in trouble, um, or men just like preying on school
Oh,
girls in
definitely.
general,
Yeah.
that it's the kind of novelty of it that makes these women celebrities, at least the ones that got in early. It's kind of a pyramid scheme. The later you get caught, being a abusive teacher, probably the less the fame you have coming to you. But the
Yeah.
like, but then it's also there is no, like, I've had people have had odd reactions, I think, where they come up and there's almost a justification, or um there is a martyr, I think there were the I had a woman come up to me and say something about she knew the producer of the TV movie of this story and how he thought it was ridiculous, and if that happened to a man, it'd be a slap on the wrist. And it's like, I don't know that that's true. I think a lot of these people would be in jail, and they should be. That there's I don't think that's controversial to say that you shouldn't prey on
Students and
kids of this
kids.
age. I think that's not even part of the equation. Is Was that wrong? Like, it's like, or it's more why. I think.
Yeah.
And because I think there's a lot of black and white thinking with a lot of this stuff. And again, I want to clarify. I don't mean why was it wrong.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, it was wrong, period. New paragraph. But why
Was it?
was this? Why did this happen? What are all the ingredients that made this possible? Both in why was he isolated enough? Why was what was going on in her head? What were the things in her childhood? Like, how far can we trace this back? Like, those things are just interesting to me. Um but then of course, why are we fascinated by it? Why are we recreating these horrible stories in the tabloids, and then again on TV, and then another movie, and then what is that? Is that cathartic? Like, that's the thing, is I don't know. I just think there's a lot of questions, that stories like this, because when they're done well, like, what am I gonna say? It's like, you watch Bonnie and Clyde, you watch Dog Day Afternoon, you go, well, perfect, heavenly creatures, great job, guys. You recreated something absolutely horrific in a way that has meaning and transcends the just a replica. But then that's, of course, not, they're not all heavenly creatures or Dog Day Afternoon. And that's just, this kind of foolhardy, oh, I'm going to get to the truth. I'm going to get right to the truth of it. It's like,
Never that easy.
you can't. It's impossible.
Sammy.
And you're a television actress, so it's, if anyone was going to, you know it might be more like a doctor.
Was the television movie the Penelope Ann Miller? I mean, you're not referencing, I guess, a specific one in the movie within the movie.
The one that's on the screen that Natalie's watching, like that was, well,
because we can, I only have you for a few more minutes, I think, but we can perfectly, before you start about that, we can perfectly tie it into the very last scene, which I want to talk about, which is Natalie shooting her version. And I think that's when I was kind of like, she's a little exposed as a little bit insecure. The movie that she's working on, the set doesn't look as artistic as Greg Johnson would want his sets. Yeah. Or maybe a Todd Haynes would want his sets.
Well, I think that in some ways that last scene is, I mean, in some ways it's a punchline, and in some ways it's a tragedy. It's so, and we get hints. We're like, okay, she's having an affair with the director. It's low budget.
When it's revealed she's having an affair with him, she's like, none of these kids are quite sexy enough, right? You're laughing.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, it's dark, it's funny, it's like, it's just, I love his reaction, going, you gotta come home now.
Yeah, you gotta come home now. He said,
you're a little, you've gone past the line of what this is appropriate to be. But yeah, it's like we kind of get this sense that this isn't going to be a great movie that she's making.
You have a background in casting, so it's interesting you wrote that sort of casting into the script, right?
Oh, I know. That was very meta, because I actually got sent a link of those kids auditioning for those are lines. Those
Wow.
aren't their names. So so it's like I would get it was a slate. It'd be like, hi, I'm so and so and I'm this year's old. And then they would start the material and it would be, hi, I'm a different
Oh my
name from this year's
gosh.
old. And it's my birthday. So it was like the meta layers of all of this has continued to reveal it themselves.
And will
And it's
continue.
very funny. Yeah, and will
Oh,
continue.
but
But
going back to the last scene, which
oh
you
yeah, the
said it's sort
last
of a
scenes.
punchline, but other things going on.
But yeah, it's like, well, because it is there's a kind of a darkness to that. It's like, oh, perfect. What was it all for? Oh, some shitty movie, you know? And also the look in her eye and the anxiety of her trying to get it right. I mean, it's so foolhardy, you know? It's like you'll never get it right because it's impossible, but also there aren't the tools here to get it right. And that look and you know that insecurity that we can see, that doubt, it just that flash is so chilling, really, um, because because of everything we've seen her do, and at the expense of what we've seen her do. It is really, it's both at once, you know. But I love the way, I love first that shot because that is everyone in the real crew except there's an actor playing Todd, like not playing Todd, but sitting in Todd's chair, which
Amazing.
is so funny to me. But it's like the real DP, the real, you know, everyone that wanted to be in it. And then the way it's shot and the costume choices, and you know, it's like it's so fun to see through Todd's lens what this kind of movie would look like.
Mhm.
And one thing that was put in, I hope this is okay to say, I'm pretty sure it is, that he wrote in the a note on, like, to put in the description of that, was because we're seeing it through the camera, is unmotivated handheld. And I just thought, oh, what a knife to the heart to so many. I mean, imagine it's like the amount of directors that would go, oh, just that phrase. It's so simple and brutal. Unmotivated handheld. But yeah, but yeah, I
Oh my gosh.
it's such a great reveal of the product of what this is all for, all this whole story, you know, what was at the heart of it, this,
Yeah.
you know, movie that who knows who will see it.
Oh
But
my gosh. So listen,
yeah,
I want to only keep you like 30 more seconds because I
okay.
promised I could talk to you all day, Sammy.
No, I know, this is so fun. We didn't even get to talk about when me and Kate would go to your show
Yes.
and sit in the front
The
row.
great Kate
And
Berlant.
all our,
Hi,
oh,
Kate.
I saw some of the best comedy I've ever seen at your show. I have so many specific memories. And also how many people that were like, hi, I'm just starting. And now they're like fucking the most powerful comics in the world. But just how sweet you were to us. And I have so many great memories of that time. And also, yeah, you being in our short, so generous. And I
Oh
have
my God.
yeah, unbelievable memories
Yo, your
of all
short
kinds.
Bev is so good. When you come back, we'll talk about it more. But the way that you shot that was a very collaborative, sort of free thinking experience.
Yeah.
Sometimes I still do like Tai Chi and stretches. And I think about how there was a scene of that in your movie, right?
Yeah. I know. We really were, um, I mean, it was for the sake of art, but we were inconsiderate of everyone's time because we loved the feeling of that experiment, you know, feeling alive, like feeling improvised. And so the we did that with two large groups of people, but you were part of the trust seminar part of
Oh yeah.
a full day of doing absolute actual trust seminars, like 3 cameras roaming in Queens.
Yeah, we were in a hotel like conference room.
You have one of my favorite lines in that whole movie that you improvised where someone, I think it was Joe Pera, asked you, which of your parents do you love more? And you were like, they're both dead. I don't know.
I was so in character. You taught me method acting.
So
You and
exactly.
Alex.
It's all about that. Exactly. No, I love that is I mean that talk about embarrassment of riches of everyone that's in that movie that, you just see.
Your cast
Yeah.
in that movie,
Oh,
Bev, shows up
oh my
everywhere,
gosh.
and I love them
It's
all.
pretty amazing, and I've just started to see it, but I feel like with time it's going to get more and more and more
Yeah.
because of all those people. But like I saw someone on Letterboxd be like, "Whoa, it's really surreal to see Joe Pera and Brennan Lee Mulligan share the same space." And I'm like, "For you, it was normal at the time."
It really was.
But it is. I mean, so many. It's Jacqueline Novak.
Yeah, John Early. John Early and Jacqueline are going to be on the show.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
John Early texted me. John texted me the other day. He goes, "Strike's over. I'm doing your show."
Oh, he's the best. I love that's so great. Yeah, wow. What a time.
What a time.
What was
Samy,
that like?
you're the freaking greatest. Okay.
Oh my
Okay,
God,
first of all,
great.
award nominees across the board for best writing, obviously, best directing. The whole cast gets awards. This is going to be a gigantic hit for Netflix. And I'm talking on a scale of, such a brilliant film to come to them, and people are going to stream it like crazy and talk about it all holiday season, Samy.
Yeah, get yourself an eggnog and sit down with a oatmeal cookie.
It's the feel-good movie of the year.
There is actually a lot of themed food in this film. If people are the type that if you want to get yourself an pineapple upside down cake, there's a big coconut cake moment. There's definitely there's a blueberry cobbler talk. There's a lot of baked goods, hot dog.
There's no specific reference to Christmas, I don't think, which usually award movies kind of try to shoehorn in. Am I right?
No, we've got Memorial Day. This can be your Memorial Day film that you watch every year. And then and high school graduation. So we're not even at the 4th of July,
This movie is for all of May to December.
And May to December, exactly.
Samy, I'll probably I'll edit all this out. I don't want to take up any more of your time. Thank you so much. You're the greatest. How's Alex? Please say hi. And
I will. He's great.
It's great to connect with you. So thank you, because and also truly, the movie is just so brilliant. Like, congratulations.
Oh my
because
God. I'm so happy you saw it. Oh, it was so nice. That is so nice. And this is so nice to see you.
Yeah, so nice to see you too. I just can't thank you enough. I know I have to say goodbye now, but can we connect again sometime in the future?
Yes.
Thank
oh my
you,
God.
Samy.
Absolutely.
Have fun in the weeks ahead, because you're the best and you deserve all the great things. So just, have fun. Have a good time.
Oh my God. Greg, you're the best. Thank you. Talk soon. Thank you. Mwah.
Just one more thing. There goes Samy. Go to Netflix and stream May, December now. And please, right now, check us out at liveon95.com. If you liked this episode, or even if you did not, please share it at liveon95.com. Check out all our apps at liveon95.com. Thank you so much. We'll see you again tomorrow. My name is Greg Johnson. Peace and love. Peace and love.